Hi guys, let me and my partner tell you about Cladistic.
Cladistic, which is a method used in biology to classify organisms based on evolutionary relationship. It focuses on grouping organisms into clades, which include an ancestors and all of its descendants. A clade is a group of organisms that have evolved from a common ancestor.
Cladograms are tree diagrams that show the most probable sequence of divergence in clades. With this information, we can begin to identify which organisms share a more recent common ancestor compared to others. For example, take a look at this cladogram of humans and the other primates. It shows that humans shared an earlier common ancestor with chimpanzees than with gorillas. And if we go back far enough, humans share a common ancestor with old world monkeys, here which also gave rise to all of the other apes in the diagram. Evidence from cladistics has shown that morphological classification has complications. Take a look at these organisms. If you remove the cladogram and look at the structural similarities of the organisms, you should assume that the shark and the dolphin are more closely related to each other than to the puma. But when you introduce a cladogram based on structural and sequence evidence, you will find that the dolphin and puma are more closely related to each other than the shark. This can happen because of two different types of evolution. Divergent evolution shows structural similarities based on common ancestry, where convergent evolution shows similar characteristics because of selective pressures in the environment. Take a look at the shark and the dolphin. They have similar structures, not because they are closely related, but because they live in similar aquatic environments, where similar structures are selected for because this selective pressure dictates the similarities. So we can say this is due to convergent evolution.
As we have learned before, cladograms can also show homologous and analogous structures. Homologous structures are those that have a similar structure but a different function which exists due to common ancestry through divergent evolution. Analogous structure are defined as when two organisms possess completely different structures that fit the same function. This is due to selective environmental pressures through convergent evolution.
Now, I will tell you the summarization of cladistics. Cladistics is an approach to biological classification in which organisms are categorized in groups based on hypotheses of most recent common ancestry. The evidence for hypotheses is typically shared delivered characteristics that are not present in more distant groups and ancestors. It is a method hypothesizing relationships among organisms. Why is cladistics important? Cladistics is important because it predicts the properties of organisms. Now, this is an example of cladistics. Reptiles, fishes, and birds can be examples of cladistics because they had common ancestors in the past and evolution resulted in difference among them. Emil Hans Willi Hennig was a German biologist and zoologist who is considered the founder of phylogenetic systematics, otherwise known as cladistics. So this is the cladistics character states in my top. The first state is plesiomorphy. Plesiomorphy refers to the ancestral traits that a taxon retains throughout evolution. Two or more taxa can share plesiomorphies, but reside in different groups. When this occurs, this is termed simpliciomorphies. An example of simpliciomorphy is quadruplism, or the ability to walk on four legs. 4. The next is autapomorphy. Autapomorphy is a distinctive feature known as a derived trait that is unique to a given taxon. Example of autapomorphy is the evolution of bipedalism in humans compared to other primates. Next is apomorphy. Apomorphy refers to a derived state used to define specific clades. Apomorphy can be further subdivided into autapomorphies and synapomorphies. Here is an example of apomorphy. Apomorphy is when a species or a clade shows a trait that identifies it from its ancestral form. Next is homoplasy. Homoplasy refers to a character state that is shared by at least two organisms, but it is not found in the common ancestor of a predecessor. An example of this is mammals and birds are both warm-blooded and share a common tetrapod ancestor. The last state is synapomorphy. Synapomorphy is shared derived character common between an ancestor and its descendants. And that is the end of our presentation. Thank you for watching.